The Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker teaser trailer debuted at Star Wars Celebration over in Chicago just yesterday, leaving a lot of fans very surprised of what they actually got to see when it comes to all the footage involving Rey, of course, Kylo Ren, and even Lando Calrissian and Leia, as well as the big surprise at the very end of the footage of Palpatine's laugh, portrayed by Ian McDiarmid himself. This is Mike Zero. If you guys are new to the channel, do make sure to subscribe to see future Star Wars content. Now, we do know that this movie is going to be a very special and, of course, not just a special movie, but a very important film, not just for the Star Wars community, but also for the future of the Star Wars franchise, as well as Disney and Lucasfilm as companies running the entire franchise and exactly how these movies are really going to live on past the Skywalker saga with the new Star Wars trilogies and the spin-off films. Now, what's really interesting is that J.J. Abrams actually got to explain a little bit more about Episode 9, the use of Palpatine and stuff like that. We went over this yesterday. However, you guys may recall that we have been going over George Lucas and his involvement in this movie for a very long time now, and all thanks to J.J. Abrams, he actually confirmed today that he actually met with George Lucas and they talked a lot about Star Wars Episode 9 and what they should actually do. And George Lucas actually had a say in a lot of the actual decisions that actually were being placed into Star Wars Episode 9. Now, this is what JJ had to say. This movie had a very, very specific challenge, which was to take 8 films and give an ending to 3 trilogies. And so we had to look at what is the bigger story. We had conversations amongst ourselves. We met with George Lucas before writing the script, Abrams revealed. These were things that were in real, not debate, but looking at the vastness of the story and trying to figure out what is the way to conclude this, but it has to work on its own as a movie. It has to be its own thing. It has to be surprising and funny, and you have to understand it. Now, this confirms what we have been going over these past months, give or take, of George Lucas actually being involved in Star Wars Episode 9. Now, we do know that he directed some scenes here and there involving Kylo Ren and Rey, as well as Luke Skywalker in the form of a Force Ghost, as well as some of the flashback scenes here and there. So we do know that George Lucas gave a lot of advice to J.J. Abrams. Now, there's a lot of talk that it's George Lucas who actually made the actual final decision of exactly how Palpatine should come back. Now, yesterday we just went over how Kathleen Kennedy revealed how the use of Palpatine in Episode 9 was in the cards for a very long time. It was all a matter of how they were going to bring him back. And there's a lot of talk right now that that is exactly why they approached George Lucas, which was, of course, everything related to Emperor Palpatine's return, in, of course, The Rise of Skywalker. Now, the reason as to why a lot of people are bringing this up is because George Lucas also approved the story way back in the 1990s of course, the Dark Horse Comics comic line, Star Wars Dark Empire, where we have a younger version of Emperor Palpatine by use of essence transfer, where Palpatine uses the ability of essence transfer, where he transfers his consciousness into a younger body of his own clone that actually lives on and fights Luke Skywalker and Leia and stuff like that. Very interesting storyline, and I really do hope that they follow that way from of course, the expanded universe. And since this movie, right, since, of course, J.J. Abrams and Chris Terrio, they are using a lot of expanded universe material in the film, I have no doubt that they would do something incredible and shocking like that, to the point where Palpatine is back, like actually alive. So that's what he had to say about, of course, Episode 9, how they met with George Lucas before actually writing the script. And additionally, alright, George Lucas was also on set for this movie, helping out with some scenes involving Luke Skywalker, Kylo Ren, Rey, you name it. And I have no doubt that he also helped out with the character of Emperor Palpatine, because we do know that Ian McDiarmid himself is back as the character in this movie. So let's just hope that his portrayal of Palpatine will really add to the one that we actually know and love from the prequels and the originals. Now, to me personally, it's only a great honor to have George Lucas back on board for Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker. It just feels right. Again, like I say, if it weren't for George Lucas making A New Hope back in 1977, and of course completing the original trilogy, we wouldn't even have Star Wars where it is today. And we wouldn't even have the franchise at all. So with that being said, I'm very grateful of what's going on with Episode 9. I really do have high hopes coming out of The Last Jedi and the problems that I had with the movie. I'm really crossing my fingers that JJ is really going to knock it out of the park, and I think that the proof really is already there of what he's trying to do. He's really trying to cater this movie to the hardcore fans that are very familiar with the EU and Legends, as well as some fan favorite characters, such as Palpatine. I mean, Ian McDiarmid himself is back as the character. It's so surreal that he's actually back on, of course, this movie that will end the entire Skywalker saga. So what do you guys think about all of this? Let me know what you think about this below in the comments, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.
From night to moon